regular updates from here at Old Trafford, but let's take you to our commentary. 120 miles or so north of Paris, not far from the Belgian border, it's Lens against Arsenal. Your commentary team, former England striker Dean Ashton, alongside TalkSport's chief football commentator Sam Matface.
And what a sight it is, 25 years ago, since Arsenal and Lens played their first ever Champions League fixture against one another. Tonight, they rekindle that landmark occasion. Flight delayed, deadlines missed, press conferences cancelled, but in truth, nothing should derail Arsenal on their short hop to France. Mikel Arteta had to phone reporters in order to fulfil his media duties yesterday, but even after the disappointments of last season, there's no doubt his team are dialed in. 10 games unbeaten, 7 victories, plus another on penalties. This is a new-look Arsenal, and they are determined, unlike their transport, not to be blown off course. Racing Club de Lens have brought back Champions League football here for the first time in 21 years, and they are going to make the most of it. Inundated with ticket requests, this stadium absolutely thronging. The club that play in blood and gold, symbolising the hard work and graft expected of those who play for the team, maybe struggling to live up to last season's second place finish, but boy, have they given Arsenal a welcome. There's a huge tifo on one side which says RC Lens, and then the Champions League trophy with the huge crest of the club, which is just unfurled and then wrapped up as we start a night of huge Champions League football. Last season, they finished in second place in France and narrowly missed out on the title again. This year, they're struggling to live up to their billing, scrapping for points after losing key players, but they are a club that have been punching above their weight for the last few seasons. Let's run through the two teams as the flares go off away to our right-hand side and red smoke billows into the sky. Brice Samba, who played for Nottingham Forest when they were promoted to the Premier League, is in goal tonight for Lens. The back three of Jonathan Grady. Kevin Danso, who spent much of his childhood in England and says sometimes he feels more English than he does anything else. Facundo Medina, the Argentine central defender, is the left centre-back. The left wing-back is Devia Mercado. The right wing-back, Premislav Frankowski. Then Papi Mendy and Abdul Samid in the middle of the park, with Adrian Thomason and Florian Satoka supporting new signing Eli Wahi up top. He was linked with Chelsea at some point during the course of the summer. Arsenal have got David Raya in goal. Into the back four comes Takahiro Tomiyasu, Saliba and Gabriel, the two centre-backs, with Oleg Zinchenko at left-back. Martin Odegaard, Rice and Havertz in midfield, with Saka, Jesus and Trossard as the attack. Marco Guido from Italy is in charge. The VAR is Paolo Valeri. They'll be hoping there's no controversy tonight in Lens. Arsenal in their third kit of green shirts, dark green shirts with navy shorts and navy sleeves, and they will attack the goal away to our right in the first half. It is the gold and blood red of Lens who will start from right to left in this first 45. We'll keep you up to date with the games in the Championship, the Champions League, but our focus is on the Stade Bollard Delhi, the home of Racing Club de Lens, and the place where David Beckham curled in a free kick in the 1998 World Cup. Arsenal will hope for more big match-winning moments tonight as they look to cement their place at the top of Group B of the UEFA Champions League. We're underway, and Dean Ashton, the former England international, is with me. This should be a game that Arsenal win. Can complacency be the only thing that unsettles them tonight?
Possibly, but I think with this atmosphere, this crowd, I think that's going to be difficult to be complacent. I think it sharpens the senses. Described earlier by French expert Jules Laurent as the Newcastle fans of the French League. I mean, we can see that, the joy of being back in the Champions League and playing a team like Arsenal. And these are the sorts of games, I think, where you really see the credentials of individual players. Champions League, elite level, hostile atmosphere. Can Arsenal players handle it?
Bolton Wanderers lead Stevenage in League One by a goal to nil after 13 minutes. We'll keep you updated with all the goals from around the country tonight as Brice Samba gets hold of it inside the 18-yard box, away to our right, under pressure from Jesus. His kick out goes straight to Tomiyasu, and Arsenal have it inside Lens territory with Bukayo Saka. Back to Tomiyasu, a little bit under pressure from Eli Wahi, but that pressure dealt with well by Declan Rice, who is playing just his second Champions League game tonight. Boos ringing around the stadium because Arsenal have possession. It's taken by Gabriel into Saliba. They're just right of the centre circle. Tomiyasu into Declan Rice, and tightly marked right from the very off. Bukayo Saka struggling to get hold of the ball. It goes out for a throw-in on this near side, and he was getting close attention from Divir Mercado.
I think that needs to be a feature for Saka, is can he get himself in between Mercado and Medina, because Mercado's going to want to play as that left-sided midfield player, but it's going to have to, and there he is already
having hold of the ball as it goes beyond the first defender and out towards the right-hand side, but Mercado does well just to try and bring him back towards the edge of the penalty area, and then it's helped out by Thomason, and the two of them combined to dispossess Arsenal and bring it away from the left full-back position and take it high up into the middle of the field. But Rice wins it back. Havertz doesn't react quick enough. It's won in midfield by Papi Mendy. He sends it wide towards the right, picked up by Frankowski, who gets further up the pitch now, gets the return pass, and then there's a little bit of miscontrol going on before Frankowski sends a cross into the centre. It's steered behind by Gabriel and out for the first corner of the game, and it's a Lens corner.
With every single pass of that attack, the crowd were lifted. Really good play from Frankowski on that right-hand side, combined a couple of times before getting that cross in. Really good positioning by Gabriel, though, just on that 6-yard point.
Arsenal nil. First corner of the game to be taken by Adrian Thomason on that far side, right-footed towards the penalty spot. Away by Rice, it drops inside the box, and Abdul Sami tried to steer it goalwards, but in the end fumbled his shot, and it's all the way back towards the goalkeeper, Brice Samba, away to our right-hand side. 0-0 live on TalkSport tonight. Champions League football rare in these parts, and certainly the crowd are well up for it tonight as Wahi goes down the left-hand side for Lens, trying to get the better of Tomiyasu, just shepherded him towards the byline. He thought he managed to just help him out of play. Didn't quite happen like that. There was a little touch from the Japanese, and it goes out for a corner.
And that's what you should do as a forward. You should want to test the pace, especially if you've got it. Wahi, with that electric pace in behind, testing Tomiyasu, who has matched him stride for stride.
Corners will be taken on this near side, and it will be Thomason who whips it in right-footed towards the back edge of the penalty area. It's headed into the air by the first Lens defender, and then shot towards goal. It's a brilliant effort as well by Kevin Danso, who swiveled inside the penalty area and caught it left-footed. It went narrowly wide of the left-hand upright.
That's twice now Arsenal haven't been able to get that first header away from a set play. Just fell fortuitously for Danso. Lovely chest and volley in one sweeping move. He just didn't catch it very well. He hit it into the ground, and that then spun it wide of David Raya's goal.
Still 0-0 between Manchester United and Galatasaray. Braga beat Union Berlin by 3-2 earlier. Real Sociedad beat Salzburg in the earlier game as well. Luton 0, Burnley 0 is the latest from the Premier League at this moment in time. And elsewhere up and down the country, there have been goals in League One and in League Two. In League One, Bolton leads Stevenage, Barnsley 1-0 up away at Cambridge, Fleetwood 1-0 up at Cheltenham, Leyton Orient lead Lincoln by 1-0, Northampton 1-0 up against Reading, Oxford 1-0 up against Shrewsbury. In the Championship, Birmingham 1-0 up against Huddersfield, Ipswich 1-0 up against Hull. Every other game is 0-0. And in League Two tonight, Wimbledon leading Harrogate, Notts County 1-0 up at the Swindon, Stockport with Forest Green Rovers. You're up to date and listening to TalkSport. Over on TalkSport 2, that commentary of Luton against Burnley continues. They're really bouncing over on the far side with the gold and blood red flags waving in the evening sky. It's the 20th occasion that Arsenal played in the Champions League. The previous 19 came consecutively between 98 and 2017. They themselves are settling back in Champions League life, but their absence has not been as prolonged as that of the French team, Mikel Arteta, who saw his team win at Bournemouth over the weekend. It was their 4th consecutive away game that the Gunners have won without conceding a goal. They have never done 5, Dean.
Oh, and it's going to be a test, isn't it? Tonight, of course, with this atmosphere and how good Lens are at home as well. But they'll be confident, really, really confident.
Ball on halfway. Declan Rice tussling on the halfway line with Florian Satoka. Nudges it out of play. Goes up for a Lens throw. Launched down the left touchline. Headed away by Saliba. He's loose in midfield. He'll have a point to prove tonight. The Frenchman Saliba wants to show everybody just how good he is in his homeland. The ball loops into the air. Havertz doesn't get a good clearance on it. And it's back with Mendy, who shuffles it to the right. Didn't see the best of him, I don't think, at Leicester City, but there was a couple of occasions where they really did need help in the middle of the park in big games, Leicester, and they started to bring him in towards the end. He had a few injuries after coming in to essentially replace N'Golo Kanté. Didn't quite work for him. Here he is on the ball again, down the left side. Takes it towards the touchline and then tries to turn away from Ødegaard. Shields the ball well, goes past Saka, pokes it off into Abdelhamid. Abdelhamid wins the free kick, so we'll go off to Kenilworth Road and get an update from the Premier League. TalkSport Ian Abrahams is there.
38 gone, Luton 0, Burnley 0. A couple of early chances for Luton and for Burnley in the last few minutes, and Dooney's been gone really close for them. The game is live on TalkSport 2. It's Luton 0, Burnley 0.
Cross into the box and headed down towards the far corner. And it was headed towards goal by Satoka, coming in from the left-hand touchline. As the cross came in from wide, he rose up, headed the ball goalwards, and he went narrowly wide.
That's the 3rd time now a cross has been made from that right-hand side. Frankowski with it, and it was a late run from Thomason, just trying to come on the blind side of Tomiyasu, who was actually doubled up at the back post, and it was a weak header in the end from Thomason. Offside anyway.
Fortunate for Arsenal to get away with that. Mentioned the clean sheets that they've had. They kept clean sheets a lot away from home. It hasn't been an issue at all for them. 13 clean sheets in the Premier League since the start of last season, more than anybody else. It's actually a bucket load more than anybody else. It's in stark contrast to their home record, where they've been notoriously leaky. Here's Kai Havertz out towards the far side, and it's taken down by Zinchenko. Moves out towards the edge of the centre circle, then tries to lift it into the left channel, looking for the run of Havertz. Too heavy, and Brice Samba will go across and collect that. You would expect Lens to score tonight. They have scored in every one of their last 33 home games in Europe. It's a run that started against Arsenal in 1998.
I mean, that is an outrageous statistic. And again, I'm pretty sure when you do the analysis, the Arsenal team, the players will know that. And I'm pretty sure it'll be about stopping them scoring, knowing that they've got the firepower to cause problems. I think once this game settles down a little bit, the pace has just been so frantic so far.
Francaise, who is the head coach of Lens, is standing with his hands on his hip, watching on this near side. He looks a little bit like a geography teacher, doesn't he, with his smart blazer on, with his patches and his glasses. As Mikel Arteta looks like a bit of a closed horse standing on the touchline. Ball swept out towards the far side. And here they come again. Frankowski with a chip towards the edge of the 6-yard box, easily claimed by David Raya this time, on the edge of the 6-yard box. So we'll go off to a goal at Birmingham City for TalkSport's Jeff Peters.
It's Birmingham 2, Huddersfield 0. They've doubled their lead. Koji Mayoshi 2 yards out, sliding in at the far post. But what a ball from Cody Drame right into that area. Simple finish. Birmingham 2, Huddersfield 0.
Darren Moore in charge of Huddersfield. 2 draws so far. Looks like they're heading for defeat there still early in the game. Birmingham 2-0 up in the Championship tonight. Lens 0, Arsenal 0, Manchester United 0, Galatasaray 0. The latest scorelines from the Champions League. Rice flicks the ball out towards the far side, taken down by Leandro Trossard, who's back in the team once again. Scored that winner against Everton, scored the late winner in the Community Shield as well in the 11th minute of stoppage time, and a really good pre-season in front of goal. Kai Havertz drops to a midpoint position in the middle of the Lens half, and then wandering through the centre of the pitch is Oleg Zinchenko, out wide to Tomiyasu. Arsenal on the attack with Bukayo Saka now in the right wing position, back to Rice, then down the right to Saka again, trying to trick his way past two defenders who both are doubling up on him. Goes wide to Tomiyasu, and it's very tightly compact on the edge of the penalty area. Lens making sure there's lots of bodies behind the ball and nowhere to go for Arsenal. But Odegaard picks it up between the lines, tries to swivel, plays it left. Havertz has got it now. He'll shift it onto the left, and Trossard moves up towards the edge of the penalty area. Rice arriving on the edge of the box, a bit of room for him, and he was a little bit casual with his pass into Zinchenko. Goes wide again, onto Kai Havertz, who drifts in now from that left-hand side, tries to find a gap again. They're just banked up 5 and 4 on the edge of the box there, Lens. And then Arsenal trying to be patient, trying to probe and find a way through there.
Yeah, I mean, they're absolutely desperate, Lens, to make sure that space for Odegaard and for Havertz just isn't there at the moment. They're so dangerous, Arsenal, and those players, when they get in those positions, they're just denying them the space.
Arsenal winning the ball back high up after momentarily giving it away. Tomiyasu shields it from the pressure from Thomasson and guides it back to Saliba. Thomasson who's in for Guinea, who scored a fantastic goal in the first game. Guinea, who scored a free kick against Sevilla on match day 1. It was an absolute belter in Andalusia to equalise in that game. Here is Declan Rice, square to Zinchenko, a little poke forward towards Odegaard, trying to flick it round the corner, and he was robbed of possession as a result of that, and they bring the ball clear. Thomasson switches the play from left side to right, taken down over on that far touchline by Satoka. And then it's back with Papi Mendy in the heart of the Lens midfield. Lens got back on track on Friday after failing to win their first 5 games. They've now posted back-to-back wins. They had a bit of a struggle getting to grip with new players and living up to the expectations of last year. They missed out on the title by a point to PSG, but Mikel Arteta was talking yesterday. He said he's watched loads of their games this season and actually felt the Lens have been a little bit unlucky not to post more points. He said, I don't know how they don't have more points.
No, I mean, look, very difficult to lose 2 wonderful players that they did and to replace those with young players, effectively, with huge potential, but may take time, of course.
Saka wins the ball back, plays it to Jesus, edge of the area, cuts it on his right foot and drills the ball towards the far corner. And Arsenal lead once again, and Gabriel Jesus is doing the business in Europe once again. It's the 16th goal he's been involved in 16 Champions League games. And after Saka robbed the ball inside the Lens half, Jesus only had one thing on his mind. Thomasson with a mistake, Jesus punishes him, and Arsenal lead by 1-0.
Yeah, it was a loose pass from Thomasson. Saka was bright enough to get onto that, just laid it into the path of Gabriel Jesus. And I tell you what, when you get into these positions and there's a defender right to the side of you, is there anyone as good as Jesus at that little body shimmy? Just a little step with his body just sends the defender off balance, just to send him back 2 yards, and then it just opens up the space for Jesus to get it onto that right foot and skim it across the wet surface past the goalkeeper and right inside the post. It's a brilliant finish from Jesus.
13 goals and 3 assists in 16 games. He is always on form in the Champions League. And it's his 4th consecutive group game in this competition that he has scored in. He comes alive on the nights where it matters most. And he has been in good form for Arsenal recently. That's his 3rd goal of the season. Mikel Arteta said he changed Arsenal's world when he turned up last season. And he's put them in front here. Lens looking to respond, trying to get the ball into the box. The cross coming in from the left-hand side. And Mercado's effort is way over the top of the crossbar and goes out for a goal kick away to our left. It's the perfect start for Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, it is. And they just pounced, didn't they, on that mistake? But again, just going back to the body swerve of Jesus, the ball didn't do anything. The ball didn't move. It was just a little step, and the way he moved his body just to offset the defender 2 yards. That was all it was, but it opened up the space There's not that many people that can do that.
Still the blood red and gold flags ripple away to our right-hand side as Wahid goes down towards the right-hand side and moves into the 18-yard box. He plays the ball across the face of goal. It takes a deflection, goes out for a corner, which is quickly taken by Lens, who coming forward on the right-hand side. Frankowski's cross goes deflection off the cross side and goes straight to the arms at David Raya. We've got 2 goals. Let's go to Old Trafford first. The goal for Mickey Gray.
16 minutes gone. Manchester United 1, Galatasaray 0. It's a great move from Manchester United. They eventually play the ball down the right-hand side. Marcus Rashford onside whips a super ball into the box, and Rasmus Højlund heads the ball into the back of the net. Great start for the whole side. Manchester United 1, Galatasaray 0.
Rasmus Højlund, who scored a goal in Munich a couple of weeks ago, is on the score sheet in the Champions League again. Someone's on the score sheet at Kenilworth Road. Ian Abrahams.
Luton 0, Burnley 1 as we approach half-time. Lyle Foster's got the goal, sent clean through, braced past Lockyer, and as Kaminski came out, he buried it beyond him. Read back in the team tonight. It's live on TalkSport 2. It's Luton 0, Burnley 1.
Returning from suspension after being sent off at Nottingham Forest, Lyle Foster, he was missed in the game against Manchester United the other week, live on TalkSport. And over on TalkSport 2, he has put Burnley in front. They're looking for their first win of the season. Arsenal looking for back-to-back wins in the Champions League. They lead Lens by 1-0, but they've got defending to do here. Makeda coming forward, always given the ball away cheaply in midfield. Erdogan has held on to it. Arsenal were set deep and weren't ready to sprint forward, so they keep the ball sensibly, I think. That's quite a mature thing to do. I think when you come back into the Champions League, sometimes you get a little bit excited when you get a bit of possession of the ball and you turn over, but if you're 1-0 up away from home, your job is just to keep calm and be composed, isn't it?
I think that is where Zinchenko's really important, and when you're certainly at pitch level, you can just see the influence he has. You can see how vocal he is, pointing constantly at certain things that he thinks, and probably is using what Arteta has said to help the team. Just those little moments, you're right, I think are so important in these away games.
Here is Zinchenko looking for Erdogan. It's pitched though, and taken over halfway by Abdul Hamid, out towards this near side. Back it goes once again. Now Kevin Danso has it, just trundling down the left-hand side, coming through the centre, produces a lovely cross which goes slicing through the 18-yard box, and Trossard has to come in over on the far side to clear. It wasn't the best of clearances, but Arsenal eventually bring it away with Saka towards the near touchline. They lead by 1-0 on TalkSport. Tomorrow we've got more live and exclusive commentary on kickoff. Leipzig take on Manchester City in the Champions League. It's live and exclusive on the biggest sports radio station in the world, TalkSport. And you'll be able to get your calls in tonight and react to all the results if you listen to the Sports Bar. Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy taking over from 10 o'clock. Give us your thoughts and reaction from all tonight's games. It's the Sports Bar from 10 o'clock this evening. It's half-time at Luton. Here's Ian Abrahams.
Luton 0, Burnley 1. Burnley have been a better team and lead thanks to Lyle Foster's goal almost right on half-time. They haven't won a game in the Premier League yet this season. They're halfway there now. Second half will be live on TalkSport 2. Luton 0, Burnley 1 at the break.
In the Championship, Birmingham 2-0 up against Huddersfield. Ipswich 1-0 up against Hull. And West Brom leading by 1-0. Here on the left-hand side is Saka getting into the penalty area. A little back heel, comes back to Trossard via a deflection. On the edge of the area, Havertz leaves it for Zinchenko. Arsenal on the attack once again. Tomiyasu now, 5 yards back from the right side of the edge. Takes it wide onto Jesus, who just stutters, waits, and then drills it back to Saliba. And Arsenal once again content to keep hold of possession and ensure that they are in control of the match. They lead by 1-0. Zinchenko clipping the ball down the left side onto Havertz, who sees it comes over his shoulder and he shoots, and it's saved by Samba unconventionally once again. He had a few moments, Dean, in the game I saw against Sevilla, the first match day, where he elected to punch and shovel the ball when it was unnecessary to do so, and that was another unorthodox save from Brice Samba.
It was, but ultimately it stopped Havertz getting on the score sheet, and that looked a lot more like Zinchenko into Granit Xhaka, that move where they open up that space for Zinchenko, and then from that left-hand side midfield position, Havertz makes the run in behind the centre-back. Lovely clip pass over the top. I thought he controlled the volley very well, considering it was coming over his head onto the other side of his left foot, guided it towards the goal. Decent save, good angles from Samba.
well timed and beautifully executed move from Arsenal. He side foot volleyed the ball as it dropped over his shoulder, and Samba stuck out his forearm, punched the ball away, almost volleyball style. Arsenal lead by 1-0. The goal scored by Gabriel Jesus after just 14 minutes of this encounter in the north of France. And it is a match which would have seen Arsenal licking their lips when they were looking at that Lens defence, the 5th worst in France at this moment in time. They've only kept one clean sheet all season, and they've already been pierced here. It's some sight to behold, this stadium. It's almost a little bit like a traditional Old English stadium. It's 4 separate stands, very square, very angular, but the atmosphere is always cacophonous. It's the reason why it's used in all the major tournaments. Adrian was referring to 2016 earlier on today. I mentioned the 1998 World Cup. And it's always one of those stadiums that features on the big occasions that France put on. There's been another goal at Old Trafford. Mickey Gray.
It's the equaliser, Sam. Manchester United 1, Galatasaray 1. It's just a long through ball to Wilfried Zaha, ex-Manchester United. Diego Dalot does not deal with it at all. He needs to clear his line. Zaha's strong with him. It's bouncing in the 6-yard box, and he volleys it into the ground over Onana. Gives him absolutely no chance for the equalising goal. Manchester United 1, Galatasaray 1.
Wilfried Zaha was in the papers this morning saying it didn't bother him, the bad spell that he had at Manchester United. He wasn't out for revenge, and if you believe that, you'll believe anything. He certainly was, and he has come back to haunt Manchester United tonight, scoring the leveller at Old Trafford. It's 1-1 there. Notts County now 3-0 up against Swindon, as the ball is thrown in on this near side by Lens. They try and get it to halfway, but Zinchenko heads it back over the halfway line. It's taken forward by Facundo Medina, who plays it out towards the right-hand side, and then it's with Frankowski, who gets forward and tries to steer it in towards the near post. Thomason, who came in from the left-hand side, trying to get on the end of it, almost did, and trying to steer it over the top of the crossbar, but it was just a little bit behind him, and it was well over the top.
Yeah, but that is where they're targeting, isn't it, Lens? As soon as Zinchenko's out of position and they win the ball back, it's going straight out to that right-hand side, where they're a little bit exposed, Arsenal. Good ball from Frankowski. But again, Thomason's in there. Not a very good finish. Not a difficult finish either. Just needing to guide that with the side foot.
Havertz does well, and the referee plays the advantage. It goes back infield to Ødegaard from Jesus, who tries to pop it on to Saka. Across comes Danso and manages to cover. Trossard keeps it in far side. 1-0 the score to Arsenal. Halfway through the first half on Talk Sport tonight. Rice comes forward, plays it out wide. Tomiyasu to Saka. Then it's into Jesus. Rice again out towards the right. Metronomically, Arsenal keeping hold of the ball. And Rice is the enforcer, the conductor, just making sure that he is there to receive and then keep the ball moving for Arsenal. And try and keep them in possession that ultimately will keep them in control of this football match. It's a poor ball out by David Raya, and it's come out by Makeda. He sends it towards the edge of the penalty area, and it's steered out to Thomason, who bends it into the far corner on the side foot volley from the edge of the box, round David Raya and in. It's a goalkeeping mistake that Lens have punished. They're on the score sheet. They're always on the score sheet at home in Europe. And one little slip by Arsenal has been ruthlessly punished, and punished by Adrian Thomason. And Lens a level. It's Lens 1, Arsenal 1.
Well, David Raya's in the team for that distribution, of which he is normally very, very good. Not this time. He looks to play that out towards Tomiyasu. Instead of that lovely ping that we see, he's tried to curl it. He's quite casual with that. And then Mercado's in, plays it into Way, who then just guides it. He chests it down and just flicks it around the corner for Thomason, who's done brilliantly to back up the play. And I tell you what, this is a bouncing ball, and he just puts the inside of his foot on it with some real venom, and it just then arcs around David Raya into that far corner. It's a stunning finish from Thomason.
I wonder what Aaron Ramsdale's thinking on the bench. I can tell you what
Frank Hayes is thinking. He's thinking his team are back in the game. Arsenal, after taking an early lead, have surrendered a goal. And Thomason's finish was exquisite. And Lens the level. Arsenal trying to put the pressure back on again, straight up the other end, but Lens have managed to clear. Lens don't lose here very often, one defeat in their last 11 home games in all competitions. Their crowd have their blood up now. And that's another mistake, this time by Zinchenko. Tomiyasu comes to his rescue. Saka takes it in on the halfway line. And then Rice guides it back into midfield. Manchester United 1, Galatasaray 1. Lens 1, Arsenal 1 here. Bringing you full commentary tonight. Tomorrow night we'll be live from St James's Park. Adrian Durham will be presenting from St James Park on a big night for Newcastle United. And tomorrow morning on the breakfast show, I'll be with Gabby at Bonlahor, speaking to Nobby Solano, Ali McCoist, Aaron Chalmers, all on TalkSport Breakfast from 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. It's the best way to wake up. 27 minutes gone, Arsenal have dominated possession, but they've surrendered the lead they had. Dean Ashton.
Well, it's also, when David Raya's got the ball, of course, what Arsenal want is to spread the play. The two centre-backs split. Tomiyasu goes really wide, but Zinchenko comes into midfield to offer himself to play their way through. It just means, though, if you do lose the ball, you are so far out of position, and that's where they got caught from. They were just so out of position, they never got themselves back in.
Frankowski with an effort, bounced on his chest, controlled it well, and then shot from deep, and it goes straight into the arms of the goalkeeper, David Raya. Let's go off to the game at Portman Road. Mike Schull.
A sumptuous second goal for Ipswich Town, who lead 2-0 here. Connor Chaplin steering it in to the far corner of the net, beyond the reach of goalkeeper Ryan Allsop, after he was found on the edge of the area. Wonderful finish. Ipswich 2, Hull City 0.
Napoli 1, Real Madrid 1. Vinicius Junior had equalised after Leo Ortega gave Napoli the lead in that game. PSV 0, Sevilla 0 in Group B, the same group as this one, where it's 1-1 between Lens and Arsenal. 1-1 Man United Galatasaray. Copenhagen against Bayern is still 0-0 at this moment in time, and Inter 0, Benfica 0 the latest. We've got a pause in play, and Zinchenko, though, is restarting us just left of the centre circle, and Arsenal just need to reassert themselves in the match after that stunning equaliser from Thomason. 1-1 the score. Here comes Declan Rice. Square to Zinchenko. Zinchenko out to Trossard. Trossard is dispossessed. And it is interesting to watch the way that Arsenal, when they don't have possession, they'll flex into that 4 as quick as they can. But when they have the ball, which is the majority of the time, Zinchenko's playing as an orthodox midfield player, and it is a very stretched back 3 across the halfway line. Been won back by Lens, and then chipped forward by Sissoko down the right channel, looking for Wahi, away by Declan Rice, who fills in brilliantly, heads the ball to Gabriel, and then they play their way out of trouble. Havertz has got it midway inside his own half. Trossard back to the left edge of his own penalty area. David Raya's got it again, and then Gabriel will distribute upfield, up towards Jesus, who couldn't quite get it under control, but he's in a chase here, and he's being held off by Danso. Danso did really well just to manage to out-muscle the Brazilian, and then Kai Havertz goes in a little bit late over on the far side on Jonathan Gradic, and as a result of that, it's going to be a free kick to Lens, the home side. Dean Ashton.
Obviously what Arsenal want, though, is when they stretch the pitch and they almost expose their own centre-backs when they don't have the ball, but what it does is they're trying to bring Lens out of that 5-4 position, trying to draw them onto Arsenal, and I guess they feel like that risk outweighs in terms of trying to get them up the pitch. They'd take that risk to then try and play through and open the pitch up. I don't think they look that comfortable when Lens are very deep and they've just got to play and play and probe and play. They don't look as comfortable as when it then opens up for Arsenal.
There's a lot of space out there at this moment in time. The pitch looks very stretched from left to right. The Right back Tomiyasu is right on the perimeter of the pitch on the near side. The left centre-half Gabriel is almost touching the touchline on the other side of the pitch.
Yeah, I was going to say David Raya is the left-hand side centre-back. He is. He comes level with Saliba. And like you said, Gabriel is a left-back.
Rice doing well in a tight spot, swivelling and playing the ball through to Ødegaard. This is why they do it, because then they can commit men forward and get up the pitch quicker. Saka now moving towards the edge of the penalty area. Tomiyasu's on the overlap, gets to the byline, steers the ball centrally, Danso away with a header, and it comes out towards the edge of the penalty area, and now they look to try and get up the pitch. And Saka looks as if he's got a bit of a problem here. He's hobbling down in front of us, and I think that's going to be a problem for Arsenal. I hope it's nothing more than a whack that he's taken. But remember, he was hobbling at the end of the game on Saturday against Bournemouth, and he's not moving freely. And that will be of concern, I think, to Mikel Arteta. 32 minutes on the clock. TalkSport. Lens 1, Arsenal 1. Live in the Champions League, Group B. Arsenal winning their first game 4-0 against PSV. This is slightly harder for them, that's for sure. Saliba gets it back to David Raya, whose mistake really led to the goal that Lens equalised with. And now Saka has gone down, knowing that he needs treatment and possibly needing to be replaced.
Well, that was the big question, wasn't it? Again, before this game, was he fit? Of course he wants to play. Mikel Arteta talked about that he wants to help the team. He wants to play. It's just looking like the physio's coming on. Is it ankle, is it calf or hamstring based? Not too sure. I won't try and be a doctor at this point.
I was about to be really cruel and say you've seen enough physios in your time, you're probably well qualified.
Actually, fair point.
In the Championship, as we wait for the game to restart, I can tell you that Birmingham lead Huddersfield by 2-0, Ipswich 2, Hull 0, Middlesbrough 0, Cardiff 0, Plymouth 0, Millwall 0, Stoke 0, Southampton 0, and West Bromwich Albion 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. In League One tonight, Blackpool 0, Derby 0, Bolton 1, at Stevenage 1, Bristol Rovers 2, Port Vale down to 10 men 0, Burton 0, Wigan 1, Cambridge 0, Barnsley 2, Carlisle 0, Peterborough United 0, Charlton 1, Exeter 1, Cheltenham 0, Fleetwood 1, Leyton Orient 1, Lincoln 0, Northampton 2, Reading 0, Oxford 1, Shrewsbury 0, Portsmouth 0, Wickham 1. Fabio Vieira is on. It's taken 34 minutes and Bukayo Saka is replaced. Dean Ashton, your reaction?
It's a blow. It's a blow for Bukayo Saka. It may well be a blow with a certain huge game coming up as well for both Arsenal and for England. For him, if that's a muscle injury, you just don't know how bad that is.
It's a massive blow ahead of the weekend's game against Manchester City, which is everyone's focus. And we'll be there live. The Sunday session comes from the Emirates this Sunday. Alex Crook and I will bring you all of the very latest from that huge encounter, Arsenal against Manchester City. And that game now maybe takes on a new twist. No Rodri and no Bukayo Saka. Well, we don't know that's true though, do we? We only know that he's been taken off tonight, and we do hope that actually he is ready and fit and raring to go for the weekend. We were talking about it earlier on with cherishing his talent. Let's go off to St Andrews. Half-time for Jeff Peters in the Championship.
Yeah, Birmingham lead Huddersfield 2-0. Form book torn up here. Birmingham no win in 6. Huddersfield 5 unbeaten. The early opener scored by Sir Ricky Dembele, 25 yards. Fabulous hit, but Lee Nichols should really save it. Cody Drame created the second. His searching cross stumped in by Koji Miyoshi. Dembele is running the show, and Birmingham lead Huddersfield 2-0.
Jesus picks the ball up for Arsenal, 10 yards shy of the edge of the penalty area. Just nudges it back to the elegant Ødegaard, the captain, who just weaves in field, finds Declan Rice again, just a couple of wall passes just to keep things moving, and then they work their way out to the far side. What a ball that is from Zinchenko to Trossard down the left side. The challenge comes in beautifully. Brilliant slide challenge from Jonathan Grady, and it's out for a corner kick over on the far side. It had to be well timed. It was well timed, but what a ball that was from Zinchenko in the build-up.
Yeah, I mean, when he gets himself into that position, Zinchenko, his vision and the ability to play that pass is just wonderful. Brilliant run from Leandro Trossard just on the blind side of Frankowski, but Gradit did really well, came across, which he has to do as a left-hand side centre-back.
Corner taken by Ødegaard over on the far side. He's got 6 to aim at in the penalty area. 7 now as the ball goes in towards the centre. Wasn't dealt with particularly well. Fabio Vieira is joining now on the edge of the box. Sends it square. Zinchenko's got it deep inside his opposition territory. He runs forward, clips it over the top. Might be a little bit too heavy for Gabriel. He's going to run out of room here, and it scoots off the pitch and goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our right. So we'll go to half-time at Portman Road. Mike Schull.
Ipswich Town 2, Hull City 0. Ipswich deservedly in front. Goals from Wes Burns after 5 minutes. A wonderful low drive to the far corner. And then a sumptuous curling left foot shot from the D by Connor Chaplin. Ipswich exceptional and heading back to the top of the Championship. They lead 2-0.
Old Trafford and get an update from Mickey Gray.
37 minutes gone. Manchester United 1, Galatasaray 1. Manchester United have been the better side in this first half, Sam, but just lacking that little bit of quality in the final third to try and see this game out. But it's a really good game here. Manchester United 1, Galatasaray 1.
Northern France, it's Lens 1, Arsenal 1 in the Champions League Group B. And Arsenal expected to cruise through this group, playing against a team that are 15th in Ligue 1, a team that are 15th in La Liga, and a team that are, although top of the Eredivisie, struggling in the Champions League. Well, struggled against Arsenal anyway. They were well beaten PSV 4-0 and did the game at the Emirates a couple of weeks ago. That was very, very one-sided. They allowed Arsenal to be at their very, very best in that game, and they got a real pumping as a result of it. Here is Takahiro Tomiyasu down the right side, having to work a little bit harder here, Arsenal, as the noise once again reverberates around this famous stadium. The ball chipped out towards the left, and it's taken in by Trossard, who's on the attack for Arsenal. Good challenge that by Frankowski, and then his second one is a little bit of a nibble at Declan Rice. Arsenal regain possession once again. 8 minutes to go before half-time. Tomiyasu out wide towards the near side. On the touchline on this right is Vieira. He has actually taken a position up on the right-hand side after directly having to replace Bukayo Saka, who was injured. There is Tomiyasu back to halfway. And everything that Perry Grove said during commentary on Saturday of Bournemouth Arsenal has unfortunately come true, which was get him off, otherwise he's going to have a problem. He's been hobbling around for too long. Protect that boy.
Well, look, he's going to get criticised, there's no doubt about it, for playing him in this game after the weekend. And, you know, you've got plenty of players on the bench, good quality players on the bench as well, to have given him a rest and have him on the bench. If he is genuinely fit, keep him on the bench, and if you need him for the last 20 for any reason, you could possibly bring him on.
Jesus feels he was fouled as he went into battle with Facundo Medina, who I must admit, every time I wrote his name down today, couldn't stop thinking about Funky Cool Medina. I don't think that Gabriel Jesus thinks he's funky or cool. In fact, they're not friends at all. It's a bit of a South American clash, Brazilian and the Argentine, and Jesus has just turned round to him and done the old universal signal for stop gobbing off. Brice Samba kicks the ball away from the 6-yard box out towards the near side. It's helped on by Thomason, the goal scorer, looking for Makeda, and Makeda goes down thinking he should have a free kick, and a free kick is eventually given by our referee tonight, Marco Guido of Italy. There's a little bit of clumsy push in the back from Tomiyasu. His foot was high actually, and he ended up kicking, well, not kicking, but just grazing the side of the temple of Makeda. It's going to be a free kick just short of the halfway line.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to be aggressive, I don't mind that if it's close to the halfway line, stopping an attack rather than in and around your own penalty area. I think that was the right thing there to try and win the ball, Tomiyasu. Just a little bit clumsy with that.
West Brom lead Sheffield Wednesday by a goal to nil and an 8 o'clock kickoff in the Championship. What a bad start to the season it's been for Sheffield Wednesday. It's rather odd statement that was released by their chairman, Mr. Chancerai, the other day, where he said he would no longer put any money into the club. Not a great prognosis, I don't think. I feel it has been a real startling start to the season. David Raya scores. The thunderclap goes around this stadium. A bit like the old Iceland chant from 2016. That gives Roy Hodgson a nightmare every time he hears it. And free kick is given against Kai Havertz this time for inadvertent whack into the face of Kevin Danso. It's 1-1 in the Champions League on TalkSport. And we have Leicester against Preston in the Championship on TalkSport 2 tomorrow. And Thursday night, Freiburg against West Ham. And Manchester City away at Leipzig tomorrow evening from Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce live on TalkSport. It's half-time at the Bet365 Stadium. Here's Mike McCarthy.
Heading towards it, but it's Southampton in front. Stoke 0, Southampton 1. Free kick in James Ward-Prowse territory. Not a Saint anymore. Stuart Armstrong stepping up, whipping it over the wall, in off the underside of the crossbar. The Saints in front 4 minutes before the break. Stoke 0, Southampton 1.
Here is Zinchenko moving forward for Arsenal, getting it back from Trossard and then on to Rice. Rice camped inside opposition territory. Whenever Arsenal have the ball, there's a little bit of, not hush around the stadium, but just that sort of like almost ambient noise. And as soon as the home team go on the attack, the levels, the decibels go through the roof. Picked up by Rice once again in midfield. Ødegaard towards the right. Now it's on to Tomiyasu further up the pitch, the right back, right high inside opposition territory. It's back to halfway where Saliba is waiting for the ball, and Arsenal again very comfortable in possession. Havertz drops deep from the left side, now moves forward. He's got outside him on the left, he's got Gabriel Jesus. Then it's back infield to Zinchenko. Trossard has just wandered centrally for a moment. Zinchenko plays it into the feet of Trossard, who then pokes it through to Ødegaard. Quite get his pass out to Jesus quite right, but Trossard is trying to keep it alive on the edge of the penalty area. There was a collision on the edge of the box which the referee didn't like. Free kick to Lens with just 2 minutes to go before half-time.
Obviously Trossard coming into that almost number 9 position with Jesus going out onto the left just temporarily. The problem is, though, you're then left with no centre forward, like nobody actually occupying the centre backs, which means then if there is a loose pass at all, one of those centre-backs can just come out and be really aggressive and win it, and then the attack's gone. I think it's very difficult to build an attack when you've got absolutely nobody occupying the centre-backs, and that looked like an issue. You end up, all you're doing is just playing all the way around that block.
In a sort of semicircular way, going from one side to the other, then coming back again, arcing it back round non-stop, which is what Arsenal have traditionally been guilty of at times. Ball sent forward from the back, and Arsenal look to clear their lines as Lens come forward. Angelo Fagini scored a terrific free kick for Lens in the first game. He lost his place to Thomason tonight. Those changes seem to have worked. Papi Mendy keeping Andy Diouf out of the team. They do almost have a full squad to pick from, apart from David Costa and ex-Newcastle fullback Macedo Hadara. They're both injured. Remember, Newcastle in action tomorrow night. Adrian Wubase there for their game against PSG. Here's Fabio Vieira, who's come on for the injured Bukayo Saka. Plays it wide to Jesus, who's not very popular here, and not just because he scored the opening goal. He has won a throw-in down by the corner flag. I think he's got a running battle going on with Facundo Medina. Tomiyasu tosses it in from the right side, deep inside Lens territory. He's back to goal. A lovely little ball into him, the Japanese, by Ødegaard. And then it's brilliant from Tomiyasu to squeeze it to Fabio Vieira. Excellent play that from Arsenal.
Yeah, it is, but I'm just thinking about Martin Ødegaard. For me, Arsenal's best player. I think he's not been able to get into the game simply because of there not being the space there. I think they've really looked at that, Lens, and made sure him in particular isn't able to get on the ball, and certainly isn't able to get on the half turn to look to pick a pass.
Well, it's been Declan Rice who's been dictating the pattern of play in opposition territory. What Arsenal want is their more creative player, Ødegaard, on the ball, but Lens have been set out tonight to determine that that isn't the case. Won a free kick though, Arsenal, on this right-hand side. A couple of yards in from the right touchline. Ødegaard is going to take it, left-footed. The captain just had a quick word with the Belgian Leandro Trossard. And Lens, who had to come from behind in their first game in this competition this season, have come from behind to equalise here. Short free kick taken. Ødegaard then runs up towards the edge of the penalty area, curls across into the centre, comes through to Jesus, who's leaning back at the back edge of the penalty area, right-footed, and steers it over the top of the crosser. It might have been Gabriel who peeled off towards the far post, actually. It was flicked on in the end. No, it was Gabriel Jesus at the far post, and Gabriel was standing in front of him, and he just sort of ducked out of the way.
Yeah, just tried to shift the angle there, Ødegaard and Trossard, to then float that ball in. It's a mix-up between the two Lens defenders. Fell towards Gabriel Jesus, and he's trying to almost lean back and half volley side foot whip, so it gets the dip on it as it goes into the far corner. Didn't get any dip on it, just straight over the top like an aeroplane.
1-1 the score. This is Talk Sport, and Fabio Vieira has just lost out in a battle to Medina. The ball's broke to Danso. Danso slid the ball forward, but that's the last action of the first half. A first half which has seen 2 goals, but more crucially, the substitution of Arsenal's star boy, Bukayo Saka. He lasted just 33 minutes before he had to be replaced by Mikel Arteta after picking up an injury, and that will be the headline at half-time. Lens 1, Arsenal 1.
Well, we'll go back to Dean Ashton very shortly, but absolutely gutted for Bukayo Saka, and we just hope that it's nothing too serious, nothing too long-term. From an England point of view as well, squad is out on Thursday. We'll have full reaction on Talk Sport, and the crucial qualifier at home to Italy is coming up, and of course we'll bring you that live on Talk Sport. Just keep fingers crossed that Bukayo Saka hasn't been completely overplayed by his manager and is going to be available and fit for club and country going forward. Substituted tonight as it's 1 apiece. Lens, Arsenal. The other game in that Group B, PSV 0, Sevilla 0 at half-time. Group A of the Champions League, it's Copenhagen 0, Bayern Munich 0 at half-time, and the whistle's just gone here at Old Trafford. All square here as well. Mickey Gray.
Well, it's Manchester United 1, Galatasaray 1. A bright start from Manchester United. See them take the opening goal on 17 minutes from Rasmus Højlund, header, assisted by Marcus Rashford. A great move down the right-hand side, whipped in by Rashford, and
You're listening to Talk Sport on this Tuesday evening as we go around some of the grounds in the other matches. So half-time in those 2 fixtures. Elsewhere, let us give you some of the scores from around the country and from beyond. So in the Premier League, Burnley are 1-0 up at Luton. That game is live over on Talk Sport 2. If you don't have it, then get yourself the app and you can swipe very easily between Talk Sport and Talk Sport 2. Almost an hour played there. And here at Birmingham at half-time, it's Birmingham 2, Huddersfield 0.
Here at Old Trafford, we've reconnected so we can round up the first 45. All square here, 1 apiece. Mickey Gray.
It's Manchester United 1, Galatasaray 1. A great finish from Rasmus Højlund on 17 minutes gave the home side a really good opportunity, and they got themselves in the front from great play from Marcus Rashford down the right-hand side after a wonderful move. He whipped the ball into the 6-yard area, and Højlund wanted it more than his marker, headed the ball into the back of the net. It was a promising first half, but the lead only lasted 5 minutes when old man Wilfried Zaha, it was a long ball through from Davinson Sanchez, and Diogo Dalot didn't clear his lines. Wilfried Zaha was stronger than him, and he volleyed the ball down into the ground over the top of Andre Onana into the United net for the equalising goal. Manchester United are going to have to do more in the second half, because 3 points tonight is absolutely vital in this Championship group stages. It's Manchester United 1, Galatasaray 1.
Quick one, Mickey, on Wilfried Zaha. I think he was quite pleased with that goal.
Just a little bit, yeah. I mean, he celebrated. He wasn't doing it too much before then, Adrian, was he? But that was his moment. But Dalot's got to do better. As a defender, you've got to be stronger, you've got to clear your lines. When you find yourself in front in the Champions League game, you've got to stay there, and they just didn't do it.
Indeed, it is one apiece here. Elsewhere, some half-times. Real Madrid 2-1 up against Napoli. They were 1 down. Jude Bellingham has scored yet again for Real Madrid to put them in front. And Inter Milan 0, Benfica 0. You're up to date with all the Champions League half-times. Half-time in the Championship as well in a big game at the Bet365. Here's Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, it's Stoke City 0, Southampton 1. Stuart Armstrong's magnificent free kick on 41 minutes. The difference between the two sides, 25 yards out, a wonderful strike, clipping the underside of the bar as it sailed into the top corner. Stoke furious about the award of the set piece. A shirt pull from Laurent penalised in response to home side going through Chamadou just wide on the stroke of half-time from the edge of the box. Boos for the referee, James Bell, at the break, with this game coming to the boil after a slow start. And at the moment, it is the Saints on for back-to-back wins as they plot away back towards the playoff places. Stoke City 0, Southampton 1.
And in another 8 o'clock kickoff in the Championship, half-time, West Brom 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. John Swift's goal separating the two sides. Let's go back to Lens 1, Arsenal 1. Dean Ashton, former England striker, on commentary duty. 2 terrific finishes, actually. Saka setting up Jesus. I thought that was a terrific finish. And then Raya's error. Thomason, had to be somebody called Adrian. Thomason finishing superbly. First time to equalise for Lens. 2 really good goals. Let's analyse that David Raya error. I've seen loads of people on social media saying, why hasn't Arteta substituted him off and brought Ramsdale on? I mean, he will be judged by that, Arteta. He's made a mistake, right? It's a brilliant finish, but he's made a mistake.
He has, yes, yeah. If he's true to his word, though, Aid, then he's going to have to at some point. I'm not too sure Ramsdale would have clapped that either. But look, I think he probably didn't see Mercado just coming on the blind side of Tomiyasu when he played that ball. He did play it very casually. You know, he didn't play it with much purpose. It was very casual. And the only thing is, Arsenal are so open when they're in that position, when David Raya's got the ball, because of the centre-back splitting and Zinchenko out of position in midfield. They looked really exposed to that then ball in towards the forward, into Thomason. And I've got to say, the finish is so good, because to curl that ball on the volley, get that whip on the volley as it just jumps up off the surface, I thought was brilliant from Thomason to take that first time, and probably deserved to be level, I think, at half-time.
It is a great finish. And actually, just to fill people in if they're not watching it and just listening to us on TalkSport, David Raya had reset himself. He got back on his line after making the error. He was way out of his goal when he made the error and gave the ball away. It was passed to another Lens player before it got to the goal scorer, who hit it first time. And I think that was the key first time. But a brilliant finish, you're right, a really terrific goal. Bukayo Saka, though, is going to be a massive talking point. I mean, I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the headline. You know, when you've got such big games coming up, you know, none bigger than against Manchester City, you can't take a risk. And that's what they've done, and it's not paid off. You just hope that if it is something, he's picked it up early and he's just thought, I'm not going to take a risk myself, and he's made that decision. You hope it's not a muscle injury as well, but it's they took the risk and it didn't pay off, and ultimately you're going to get criticised for that.
You know what, as well, my mind goes back to Jack Wilshere, how he was played and played and overplayed, and ultimately, you know, his career was curtailed and his talent was curtailed because of injuries, because he was overplayed at a young age. I desperately don't want this to happen to Bukayo Saka, but as you said in the first half, you're not a doctor, I'm not a doctor either, so we have to leave it up to the experts to look after, at his football club and with the FA as well, to look after one of England's finest players. And this is me as an England fan talking. I want to see Bukayo Saka, because we love him, I want to see him play for England. And I think he has to be managed correctly at club level. My suspicions were he's being overplayed. And I don't want to be sitting here saying I told you so. I want him to be managed properly, Dean. Is that too much to ask?
I think the crucial part was what Arteta said about him wanting to be involved and helping the team. Well, of course he does. But he's 22 years old, and sometimes there needs to be you as the manager that makes that decision for him, and he's got no choice. You know, you're the one that's got to look after your team, your players, and I think that is clear. You know, it wasn't like he looked fresh in the last game. He was limping, there's clearly some sort of issue, and then you just don't know how much he's then compensating for that and how that can affect other parts of your body. And look, if they end up missing Bukayo Saka now for certainly the game against Manchester City, and England miss Bukayo, that's a massive blow for both. and it was avoidable, that's for sure.
Definitely. One apiece for Arsenal, one apiece for Manchester United as well in the Champions League tonight. Goals elsewhere. National League third place. Solihull have taken the lead against Rochdale early second half. And in League Two, it's a big game, this one. This is Notts County, who are top of the table, against Swindon, who are third. Notts County were 3 up. Swindon have pulled one back early second half. Tyree Shade with that goal. It's a big night of football on kick-off and live on Talk Sport. Arsenal are level away to Lens in Group B of the Champions League.
Kick-off on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
300 years of expertise in every Twinings sleep blend. 100 hours of craft in every cup. 8 natural ingredients in every sip. 1 night of winding down in every drop. Your moment of serenity. Brought to you by Twinings Sleep. Twinings. Alive in every drop.
At 3 Business, we think you should get more for less. With our Boundless Business offer, the whole team gets unlimited calls, data, and texts. And the more SIMs you buy, the more you'll save. All on the UK's fastest 5G network. That's what we call big value. Search 3 Business or visit us in store.
Unlimited in the UK, based on Ookla speed test intelligence data H1 2023. See 3.co.uk.
Welcome back to Aldi's the Answer. 2 pizzas. A Goodfellas stone-baked pepperoni pizza costing £3 at Tesco, and Aldi's Which Best by Carlos stone-baked pepperoni pizza costing just £1.39. So where can you save over 50% on your pizza? Can't top that. Time's up. You're right. Aldi's the answer. So come on down to Aldi. Which cheapest supermarket of the year? Other supermarkets may sell own brand products at different prices. For full details, see aldi.co.uk/swap.
Ooh, Mackie D's. Give us a fry.
Help yourself.
Wait, what?
Have one, Dad. They were free.
Free fries, how?
Signed up for rewards on the McDonald's app.
McDonald's have a reward scheme.
Yes, and an app is a thing you get on your phone and when you download it.
OK, thank you. I might have another one for that.
My McDonald's Rewards. Sign up on the McDonald's app and get free fries and 1,000 points when you place your first order. 18+. Only via app at participating restaurants. Register by the 22nd of October and order within 14 days. Minimum spend required. Terms apply.
AB, online and on your smart speaker. Talk Sport.
Well, it's 4th against 3rd in League One, and Bolton have taken the lead against Stevenage 2-1. Jack Iredale with it. Middlesbrough lead Cardiff 1-0 in the Championship. Isaiah Jones has put Michael Carrick's side in front. Derby won up at Blackpool in League One. Corey Smith with the goal in that one at Bloomfield Road. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
And in our live game on TalkSport, it's Lens 1, Arsenal 1. You can get Lens 17-4, the draw 13-10, Arsenal 6-5. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
In League Two, Sutton and Bottom, they're having a nightmare since battering Notts County day one of the season. They're 1-0 down at home to Salford. Big Matt Smith, the veteran striker, has got the opening goal at Gander Green Lane. Let's get an update from the Premier League game. This one's live on TalkSport 2 at Kenilworth Road. Ian Abrams.
18 minutes left. Luton 0, Burnley 1. Still that goal by Lyle Foster separates the two sides, but Luton are getting up a real head of steam here. 2 headers from Carlton Morris have gone just wide. Jacob Brown's missed with a header, and he also had another header cleared off the line by Josh Cullen. Luton wanted a penalty as well, and Morris went down under a challenge from Jordan Bayer. Not much coming the other way. It's getting noisy here. It's live on TalkSport 2. 17 to go. Luton 0, Burnley in sight their first victory 1.
In League One, Shrewsbury down to 10 men. Joe Anderson sent off, and Oxford have gone 2 up in that game. Kieran Brown with the second, Oxford 2, Shrewsbury 0. Let's go to Birmingham latest there, Jeff Peters.
Well, Birmingham still leading Huddersfield by 2-0. 10 minutes gone in the second second half. Birmingham bossed the first 45 minutes. Sirike Dembele was excellent. He put them in front, although Nichols, the keeper, should have done better. And then Koji Mayoshi slid in from 2 yards to get the second. A triple change from the visitors. Karoma, Diarra and Headley all coming on. But so far, Huddersfield yet to threaten and get back into this one. Birmingham 2, Huddersfield 0.
Ipswich still in control at Portman Road, Mike Sewell.
They are 11, nearly 12 minutes into the second half. Ipswich 2, Hull 0. Wes Burns and Connor Chaplin with the goals and an excellent first half performance by the home team. But we've had a lengthy delay for a facial injury to the Hull captain Louis Coyle, who looks a little bit worse for wear as he slowly walks around the pitch. So we've been stopped for at least 5 minutes here. Not much to report since half-time. Ipswich 2, Hull 0.
And goals in League 2. Bradford have equalised at Tranmere. That is one apiece. Andy Cook 5 in 3 in the league for him, and that's against his old club as well. Tranmere 1, Bradford 1. In the National League, Eastleigh 3, Ebbsfleet United 1. Eastleigh were losing that. Scott Quigley's got the third to add to Paul McCallum's brace. Eastleigh 3, Ebbsfleet 1. And Barnsley are running right at the Abbey Stadium. Cambridge 0, Barnsley 3. Max Waters with the third for the Tykes. Pompey, unbeaten this season, are level at home to Wycombe Wanderers. Their top scorer, Colby Bishop, has got the leveller. And a bit of news from the National League. Southend are 2 up against Oxford City, and Southend have been saved. We featured them on kick-off last week. They've had the tech step paid in full. They're going to be taken over. Southend United have been saved, and they lead 2-0 tonight. Underway here at Old Trafford, and about to get underway in northern France. Lens 1, Arsenal 1. Live on TalkSport with Dean Ashton and Sam Matchface.
Brice Samba stands in the middle of his goal, goes to his knees, puts his hands to the sky as we await the start of the second half. No changes are visible at the start of the second half as the two teams get off and underway here in the Stade Bollard. And Lens shooting from left to right in gold shirts with red blood shorts and socks. And Arsenal in their third kit of dark green tops with navy blue sleeves and navy blue shorts, tucking the goal away to our left-hand side. The noise is cacophonous, it's smothering, and Arsenal have done their best to try and silence it with a lot of possession, but their goal cancelled out after a mistake from David Raya. And the two big headlines in that first half was the mistake by Raya and the substitution of Saka. But Arsenal have really got to shake off those thoughts in the second half and get the job done.
They have, and I think they need a little bit more support for Gabriel Jesus, especially when Lens drop into that low defensive position. That's when you've got to have real move. When you see Manchester City wear teams down, then they're looking to get beyond Haaland in and around and then make those diagonal runs. Don't think we've seen enough of that. Too many players coming towards the ball in those moments.
Tomiyasu throws the ball down the right-hand side. It goes straight off the chest of Jesus and out of play, and it's away for a throw-in over on the far touchline in front of
several huge flags that are rippling in the night sky. And the most vociferous Lens fans are either side of the halfway line in the first couple of rows down the side. You often see the ultras in big European games at either end, but not here in the Stade Bollard. They are on the halfway line, and there is a little platform, a scaffold platform, which is erected right on halfway. There's a guy in a blood red t-shirt standing with a big, huge drum conducting the noise which is emanating from the stands. So Lens start with Brice Samba in goal, and it's a back three of Gradin, Danso and Medina. Right-sided wing-back is Frankowski, the left-sided wing-back Macedo, Abdul Samid and Papamendi in midfield, Thomason the goal scorer and Satoka flanking Wahi in attack. For Arsenal, they've got Raya in goal, Tomiyasu at right-back, Saliba, Gabriel and Zinchenko across the back four. Rice is supported by Havertz and Ødegaard, and then Vieira is now playing on the right-hand side for Arsenal with Jesus and Trossard as the other forward players. Here is Jesus dropping deep, finding Vieira halfway. He runs up to Danso, tries to play the ball infield. He can only serve to give it to Papamendi, and it goes all the way back into the Lens half of the field. TalkSport on a
Tuesday evening in the Champions League. Tomorrow night, Manchester City are our focus. It's won by Jesus, and then Havertz comes down at the left-hand side, and there's space for Trossard, who's got it now, cuts in on his right foot, pulls the ball towards the goal, and it's a great venomous shot. He just didn't have the power to take it beyond Brice Samba, who gets something on it, and then somehow they smuggle the ball back to him, despite the fact that it looked like it might cannon and ricochet beyond him into the net away to our left-hand side.
Well, Gabriel Jesus, he worked so hard for the team, getting back, winning that ball back. Brilliant play by Havertz in terms of the timing of when he played that to Trossard. He sits down, good at it, with a brilliant little shimmy, Trossard, but then the finish was weak. That's when you need that crisp, firm finish into the far corner. Instead, I think it came more off his toe rather than actually getting the full side foot. But fair play to Brice Samba. It's a decent save with his left-hand side right down low.
Trossard knows that that's an opportunity missed, though, for Arsenal, who took the lead in the 14th minute, were pegged back by Thomason after a mistake by Raya. And it's Lens 1, Arsenal 1. And it was a chance that Trossard has been gobbling up. He's missed a couple of chances as well, Trossard, in the early part of the season. But he has also scored a number of goals already this campaign. He scored against PSV in the previous match day, set up Jesus for a goal in that game too. 3 goals in all so far this season. Tomiyasu has it right side for Arsenal, coming forward over on the right. Back in field it goes to Lens, to Rice, who's getting away from the Lens midfielder Mendy. It goes out wide towards the left-hand side now, and Arsenal coming forward. Trossard, who was illegally fouled by Przemysław Frankowski. Or was it Satoka? It was Satoka, I think, who got the final touch. They both had a little nibble at him. And Trossard streaming into the evening sky, dropped to his knees, and now he's stretching out his ailment as Arsenal look to cultivate a free kick.
Yeah, and they are a threat from set plays. Gabriel, I think, attacks the ball very well. Saliba as well. It's not always just about how Arsenal play in terms of playing that possession football. Actually, they are a threat from these set plays.
Yeah, more of a threat from set plays now, especially with Havertz in the team. He's a slightly taller figure, cause problems. The ball in from the left from Ødegaard isn't high enough to cause anyone a problem. It was a terrible delivery from the captain, and it's cleared away by the first man to the halfway line, and Arsenal will try and come again down the right-hand side. How frustrating is that if you trotted all the way up for that?
Oh, I mean, that is just unforgivable. I still can't understand how professional footballers... James Ward-Prowse is one of those players that you watch and think, that is why you don't hit the first man, because he clearly, the practice he puts in to make sure that just does not happen. I think it's one of the most frustrating things any football fan can see on a pitch. When you set everything up and you do all of those set plays, you know, painstakingly on the training ground, and then the ball isn't right.
Trossard inside the centre circle, playing it square towards Tomiyasu. Japanese defender moves up into the opposition half. Jesus again coming very wide over towards the right-hand side. And as Dean was saying in the first half, that does leave a bit of a vacuum in the middle for Arsenal in terms of the point of their attack. Here's Jesus on the right, producing a cross into the centre, away by Danso, who heads it clear. And it comes back out into midfield, and Arsenal have it again. Good in possession. Haven't really caused Brice Samba too many problems tonight. Just 1 or 2, apart from the shot that scored the opening goal from Gabriel Jesus. I wonder whether or not that is an area that they need to improve. Arteta has put together a squad that they believe is capable of mounting challenges in Europe and domestically. 2 good goalkeepers, a defence stack of quality players who can play in a variety of different positions, a strong midfield, great wingers, playmakers. But if there's one position they might need to fill, it might be that proper number 9, as Wahi tries to get played in behind Saliba. Good defending by Arsenal, and then the ball's picked up now by Frankowski on this near side. Satoka takes over, delivers a cross into the box, punched away by Raya, and then helped further clear by Ødegaard. Short ball back by Havertz, put Jesus in all sorts of trouble. Vieira trying to get away. A free kick is given for a foul by Tomiyasu on Macedo. And let's go off to a goal at Portman Road for Mike Sewell.
Ipswich heading back to the top of the Championship. They lead 3-0 here. Marcus Harness with the latest goal. Brilliant play down the left by George Hurst, who sent the ball into the penalty area. Harness's first shot was blocked, but it ricocheted back off him and beyond the goalkeeper to make it 3-0.
And another goal in the Championship at Birmingham for Jeff Peters.
We are midway through the second half. Could be game over here. Birmingham 3, Huddersfield 0, and the outstanding Sirike Dembele has got his second of the night. Miyoshi, who got the second goal for Birmingham, unselfish, teed up Dembele to sweep home. Lovely goal. Birmingham 3, Huddersfield 0.
Goal to tell you about in the Premier League in just a few moments, but here's the free kick for Lens, just outside the area, whipped in towards the penalty spot, away by Kai Havertz. Comes back out to the edge of the box. Frankowski's got it on the right side, delivers a deep ball towards the far post. Raya couldn't quite judge that. It's headed away and then cleared further upfield by Gabriel Jesus over the halfway line. So we'll go to Kenilworth Road and Ian Abrahams.
7 minutes to go. Luton 1, Burnley 1. The equaliser from substitute Elijah Adebayo. A lovely ball floated over, headed down to him, and he turned on the 7 yards out to fire past Trafford. It's up for grabs on TalkSport 2 now. Luton 1, Burnley 1.
All you have to do is download our app or ask your smart speaker to play TalkSport 2. And if you download our app, you can actually get all of the radio stations in the News UK family. So you've got Talk TV on there as well, and you'll be able to listen to Jeremy Kyle tomorrow morning from 6 o'clock with Nicola Thorpe as they bring you Talk Today, if you fancy that when you wake up tomorrow morning. And there might be something to talk about on TalkSport Breakfast tomorrow, because there's another goal at Kenilworth Road, Ian Abrahams.
6 minutes to go. Luton were level for only 60 seconds. It's Luton 1, Burnley 2, and Jacob Braun-Larsen, a substitute on for Burnley, has put them back in front. They're within touching distance again of that victory. Luton 1, Burnley 2 on TalkSport 2.
Oh, Jacob Braun-Larsen, who I saw last weekend in the game at Old Trafford, was pretty good when he came off the bench. He's been pretty lively, actually, whenever I've seen him recently. And he's on the score sheet for Burnley just moments after Luton had got themselves back in the game, and Burnley lead by 2-1. It's 1-1 in France in the Champions League between Lens and Arsenal, and it's 1-1 at Old Trafford tonight in the Champions League. We'll keep you updated with any of the other scorelines as soon as they change. You've heard about Birmingham being 3 up, Ipswich 3 up in the Championship, Middlesbrough 1-0 up over Cardiff, Millwall lead away at Plymouth, Stoke 1-0 down to Southampton, and Sheffield Wednesday behind again to West Brom in the Championship. I do League 1 and 2 in just a moment, but Lens have the ball just short of the halfway line. It's a turn by Satoka, who gets to halfway, chips it over the top. Wahi chasing, but the slender figure of Tomiyasu is going to get there first and just nudge the ball forward into Vieira, who's crunched to the floor by the left fullback Diver Macedo, Colombian, who scored in the first 2 games of the season.
I mean, not every game's going to be easy. Of course, the PSV was brilliant for Arsenal, but these games are tough in the Champions League away from home, when a team is mostly sitting very, very deep, defending very, very well. It's down to you, the opposition, to try and misplace, dislodge this Lens defence. I don't think Arsenal have worked hard enough in that sense. I don't think Ødegaard's figured out how to get into the game yet. Luckily, Arteta has got some good options now on his bench.
But it's not solely down to Ødegaard, it is a responsibility of his, but surely also the coach has to recognise the issues and make the little tweaks.
Yeah, but you've got to problem solve as a player. Martin Ødegaard's a brilliant player, but he's not been in this game, not one bit, not the way we know that he can be, as Tomiyasu again.
A little bit too heavy over on the far side, but the ball's run through to Wahi and they're playing an advantage as a result of that. On the overlap, on that left-hand side, the ball is picked up by Thomason. Thomason swirls the ball back to the edge of the penalty area. It's away by Jesus, who's there filling in, and then Trossard comes out towards the near side. Couldn't deal with it, and the ball bounces out of play. They look a little bit like they've just hit a bit of a brick wall here, Arsenal. 1-1 the score. Now they're having to defend as Lens take the game to them. A couple of just shoddy mistakes there caused them a little bit of grief. The ball's out of play on this near side, but there was a crunching challenge by Tomiyasu. Did you expect a yellow card to come out?
Well, I mean, it's the fourth time he's done it to the same player. Mercado has been whacked 4 times by Tomiyasu, who's been clumsy, trying to win every single ball, which you can't as a defender. And you're right, Arsenal have just started to look a bit stuck. Is the time for some more changes? You have got players with different attributes on your bench.
Nketiah, Smith Rowe available to him, Reece Nelson, Jorginho, Thomas Partey back from injury. Could they mix it up a little bit? Maybe they will do in the next few minutes. We've played 58.5 minutes on TalkSport, and it's Lens 1, Arsenal 1. Arsenal, who got off to such a great start in the Champions League and have got off to a good start in the Premier League, really, when you think about the way they've performed. They're just a point behind Manchester City and still unbeaten so far this campaign. Ball cleared away by Medina up towards the right side. So Toka's got it now, tight to the touchline in front of the dugouts. Pushed back by Arsenal, and Mikel Arteta is urging his team just to put a little bit of pressure on Brice Samba, the goalkeeper. And he kicks out towards the left-hand side. Mercado forward, but it's won by Rice. But again, Rice didn't really get hold of that and lost control. Erdogan has picked up the loose ball. He's fouled by Mercado, but the referee says play the advantage because Arsenal are in possession. Tomiyasu into Rice, stretching for it, but going down the right side, feeding the ball into the channel. Jesus skips past one challenge, tries to keep it in. The ball went out of play, it's out for a goal kick.
Again, Jesus not sticking to that number 9 role. He has drifted a lot, which is of course good because he's got that ability, but at the same time leaves you a massive hole in that forward position.
Do you think they need to buy someone in January that does that job? Someone that they can say, stick up there, hold that position? Or is Eddie Nketiah that guy?
Eddie Nketiah is that guy at the moment in Arteta's eyes, because that's why he's still at the football club, because he believes that that's his role, and he does it in a different way than Jesus. But he's not clinical, is he? Not clinical in the way that a Haaland is, or a Harry Kane is, or, you know, the top strikers in the world are.
And Ivan Toney?
Well, he's shown that he is clinical in the Premier League.
Deep inside the Lens half, chasing to keep hold of the ball. Salis Abdul Samid came off the bench against Strasbourg on Friday night, having started the previous 7 games because they wanted to protect his energy for tonight's game. He's done a good job in the heart of that midfield. Lens 1, Arsenal 1, and they're starting to get more out of Wahi, who was signed from Montpellier after scoring 19 goals in 33 games last season in Ligue 1. Also in to replace Lois Openda, who will play for RB Leipzig tomorrow, live on TalkSport when they take on Manchester City. Newcastle against Paris Saint-Germain is where Adrian is going to be based. We'll build up to that and look back at all the night's action tomorrow morning on TalkSport Breakfast. Gabby Agbonlahor will be with me from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Looking forward to that. Also Celtic Lazio tomorrow as well, which will keep you across. Thursday night, Freiburg against West Ham in the Europa League. Alex Cook and Scott Minto on commentary duty for that one. And then Saturday, Dean and I are going to Kenilworth Road.
We certainly will. And that will, on the looks of things, could be off the back of a home defeat to Burnley, which would be a wounder for them.
Yep, they're still playing injury time there. Here is Thomason, the goal scorer, trying to find Satoka. It's too heavy with his pass out towards the near side. It's cleared by Gabriel, who gets it up over the halfway line. And then it's a bit of a misfield by Danso. And Jesus is trying to get the better of him, but he does brilliantly, Kevin Danso, just to edge his body back in front of the Brazilian and reassert control of the situation deep inside his own half, just right of centre.
Yeah, I mean, Danso's done his gym work, that's for sure. Every single time Jesus has tried to get beyond him, Danso has just been too strong. Simple as that.
Had a brief spell at Southampton during the lockdown period, went through the Reading and MK Dons academies. He also says he feels more English than he does anything else at times. And he could have played for England. He lived in Germany and Austria. He's the product of Ghanaian heritage. He does play for Austria. And he's found a home in Lens, where he has definitely settled. He is the linchpin of that defence. 1-1 here as David Raya comes onto the ball. He's 5 yards outside his box, and Saliba, who's just to his right, is a couple of yards behind him actually, so he's further forward than him. Saka is changed and showered and sitting down on the seats that are in the dugout. He doesn't look particularly happy. We'll try and get a bit of prognosis about his participation in Sunday's game. But I suppose the other thing about that is if you try and rush him back for Sunday's game, you could do more damage to him, and there could be damage here, because down the right-hand side is peeled away. Frankowski in towards the edge of the penalty area, and Abdul Samid sends it wide of the left-hand upright and into the side netting. It's a good chance for Lens, and David Raya was actually going the other way and wouldn't have got there had that been on target.
No, it's a slick move from Lens when they won the ball back. Gabriel's totally out of position. He was in that left-back position again, and Saliba hadn't come across. Lovely run behind by Thomas, and then he cuts it back to Samid. And you're right, he's just got to make sure with that finish, trying to be almost too accurate into that corner when that whole part of the goal was open, because David Raya was across the other side.
If you're Pep Guardiola and you're watching this, you're thinking, I know what area of the pitch I'll be targeting on Sunday afternoon. It'll be that right-hand side, the Arsenal left, where Zinchenko consistently vacates the left full-back position, and then in transition they'll be having a field day.
Yeah, because Gabriel just doesn't look as comfortable out there. He doesn't. At times he's been too wide on the left-hand side, and Saliba hasn't come across.
Who's looking comfortable at Old Trafford? Mickey Gray.
Yeah, it's 67 minutes gone here at 64 minutes, I beg your pardon. Manchester United 1, Galatasaray 1, but it's Manchester United who are pushing for the winning goal in this game. They've had some fantastic chances, but they should have taken the lead on 53 minutes. Rashford played in 1v1, should have took the shot on, tried to pull it back to Bruno Fernandes, completely got his pass all wrong. Højlund's had the ball in the back of the net for a second occasion, but he was offside. It was the right call, but it's still Manchester United 1, Galatasaray 1.
Manchester United really need to get on the scoreboard by winning that home game tonight after losing their away game against Bayern Munich so badly. Actually, I know it's 4-3, but it was a compelling victory, I think, as the ball goes into the penalty area from the right-hand side from Rice, and Frankowski sends it behind and away for a corner to Arsenal. It was a good delivery, that.
It was a brilliant delivery from Declan Rice. The problem is no one's expecting it, including Gabriel Jesus, because they just don't do it. Arsenal, they wait until they're very close to the box normally with a crowded area when they put that in. It's normally clipped in by Saka or Odegaard or Martinelli when he's fit. That was brilliant from Declan Rice. I'd have loved that cross, to be fair.
Declan Rice moving into the box, being watched by Makado. The right arm of Odegaard in the air. Hopefully he'll beat the first man this time. He delivers the cross towards the far post, and it's fired goalwards by Tomiyasu, and it's saved by Brice Samba. Brilliant run, excellent delivery. That should have been an Arsenal goal. It was a terrific, delicious delivery from Odegaard, and running in like an express train at the back post with Takehiro Tomiyasu. He caught it brilliantly, and the goalkeeper made a save. Here is Odegaard trying to nudge it into the left channel for Havertz. His pass isn't good enough. Lens tidy up. They clear it away, and let's go off to Old Trafford, where there's been another goal for Mickey Gray.
Where it is now Manchester United 2, Galatasaray 1, and it's Rasmus Højlund. Man United win the ball back. He picks it up on the halfway line, gets on the turn, and just outruns the defenders, runs into the 18-yard box, keeps his cool, dinks it over the top of the goalkeeper into the back of the net. Manchester United 2, Galatasaray 1.
67 minutes on the clock at Old Trafford, and Rasmus Højlund is at the double. And back in Lens, Arsenal quite believe that Tomiyasu hasn't scored.
No, I mean, I'm trying to think, how has the Lens defence just completely opened up in the middle of that penalty area from the corner? You're right, Tomiyasu steaming it. I think he controls it pretty well. It's a brilliant save. Brilliant save from Brice Samba to use that right leg to just stick it out and divert it away.
67 on the clock here. Trossard with another corner from the far side this time. Right-footed, it's an outswinger. Aimed towards Gabriel, gets up, heads the ball down, couldn't get any power on the header. Heads it into the ground, and it bounces up into the goalkeeper's arms. 1-1.
Yeah, decent leap from Gabriel. Players all over him, gets himself up, actually hits him closer to his nose than his forehead, hence taking the steam out of the header.
You never wanted to hit you on your nose, did you? No. Going to make a couple of substitutions here, Arsenal. And Reece Nelson about to come on for the Gunners. In the not too distant future. And Ben White, I think, is also going to come on as well. Manchester United in front at home against Galatasaray. Be a big result that for Erik ten Hag, the manager of Manchester United, and a big result for Vincent Kompany and for Burnley at Kenilworth Road. Ian Abrahams.
Luton 1, Burnley 2, their first league win of the season with an absolute peach of a goal from Jacob Braun-Larsen. 6 minutes from time, curling home from the edge of the box. It came 60 seconds after Adebayo had equalised for Luton. Lyle Foster giving Burnley a lead in first half in injury time, but in the end the Clarets celebrate their first win back in the Premier League. Luton 1, Burnley 2.
Lens 2, Arsenal 1. And it's their brand new striker, Wahi, who's popped up to put the French in front. Another move that dissected Arsenal's left-hand side. They've come down the Lens right, in towards the edge of the penalty area. The cross is a peach, and sliding it in 6 yards in front of David Raya is Elie Wahi to put Lens 2-1 in front.
And it is. It's that Arsenal left-hand side, time and time again. Lens have been in that position when they've won the ball back. It's just a simple 1-2. Frankowski just plays it in and around Zinchenko, who's on his heels. He whips in a great ball, and what a finish by Wahi. Just keeps his composure, keeps his body shape as that comes across with power, and then just guides his right foot onto it, uses the pace on the ball, guides it towards the far post. David Raya can't move, it's too quick. It's a brilliant move, another brilliant goal in this game.
And on their return to the big time, Lens punching above their weight again. Wahi with the goal. The celebrations deafening inside the Stade Bollard, and Arsenal have got to respond, and they're doing it by chucking on substitutes. Emil Smith-Rowe is coming on for Arsenal. Reece Nelson coming on for Arsenal too, and they're having to shake things up here, Dean Ashton, because they know that defeat actually blows the group wide open, especially with Sevilla just taking the lead away at PSV.
Yeah, it's not a great result if it stays like this for Arsenal. They've got time though, 20 minutes and a little bit more probably. Reece Nelson on the left for Trossard, Smith-Rowe in there for Havertz.
That happened while they were celebrating the goal. There's another goal at Old Trafford. Here's Mickey Gray.
Well, it didn't stay long in front, Manchester United. It's now Manchester United 2, Galatasaray 2, and it's Yilmaz, came off the bench, who picks the ball up on the right-hand side. He gets to the byline, pulls it back to Artukoglu, and he just has one touch, then slots the ball into the back of there. It's too easy for the away side. Nobody anywhere near him. Slots the ball past Onana for the equalising goal. Manchester United 2, Galatasaray 2.
It'll be interesting to see what tactical tweaks are made here after those substitutions. White will go to right back, I think, and Tomiyasu will come out towards this left-hand side. That's what I would anticipate. And then with Zinchenko coming off for Ben White just moments ago, I think Emil Smith-Rowe may well end up going into a sort of number 10 position. Vieira staying out wide on that right-hand side, and Reece Nelson coming out towards the Arsenal left. That looks like the way that they're lining up as they try to go in search of an equaliser. And they've got 19 minutes to get it, and after taking the lead in this game and then giving a goal away to Lens, actually Arsenal will be a little bit guilty of being maybe too casual here tonight, not finding the solutions to the problems that are presenting themselves.
And I just think that they found it difficult because of the way that Lens have defended, but they haven't moved the ball quickly enough. Declan Rice, who's a fantastic player, but he's had most of the ball deep. They haven't found a way to get Ødegaard into the game, or Havertz in the right positions, and Jesus has drifted too far out of positions. You know, it just hasn't looked right this evening for Arsenal. When you do that in a competition such as this, then you can be punished.
Andy Diouf is coming on for Papi Mendy, And there's a change up on the left-hand side. Angelo Fagini is on as well. So 2 changes. They're about to have a third here, Lens, as they lead by 2 goals to 1. And Wahi comes off and Wesley Said comes on to replace the man who has scored in the Champions League tonight for the first time. And he's celebrating as he walks down the touchline. It could be a winning goal for them this evening. 17 minutes to go. It's a European debut for Wesley Said this evening. Lens 2, Arsenal 1, live on TalkSport tonight. And Arsenal maybe a little bit guilty of trying to be a little bit too clever, not playing with a conventional centre forward. Jesus definitely not sticking to that role, moving out wide. It's just left them without a focal point, I think.
Oh, without a doubt. And I think sometimes, again, I think that has to be the manager who tells him, no, I know you're a good player, I know you can create in certain positions, but I want you to stay down the middle, because I want that creativity in your attacking play nearer to the goal.
Here on the right-hand side, Frankowski created the second goal, plays it infield. Lens in front and on the front foot, coming forward, dispossessed by Declan Rice, back to Emile Smith-Rowe. Ball sent forward to Rice once again. He charges up the field of play, shrugs off one challenge and plays the ball out wide. Fabio Vieira, midway inside opposition territory, tight to the touchline right side, moves in towards the penalty area, then goes backwards to Ødegaard, then to the centre circle. Gabriel joining the attack now. A little bit too slow again from Arsenal. Here is Nelson down the left, trying to get the ball out of his feet. He brings the ball infield, gives it to Smith-Rowe. But again, they come back deeper rather than trying to find a solution in that final third. Rice driving forward. Further out to the right it goes. Ben White again, back towards the feet of Saliba. And then Smith-Rowe dropping deep to pick it up.
It's that semicircle again, though, isn't it? It's that semicircle of play. Never really goes in towards the centre forward or runners beyond the centre forward. All in a big semicircle, happy to just play it back into Declan Rice, who then feeds it out towards Tomiyasu now or Zinchenko, and then back out to the other side.
I mean, arguably, just feeding it into the feet of Jesus when he's backed up against Danzo, at least then he can either create a wall pass for someone to come and join him, or he can try and take it in and roll the defender. But they're not even doing that.
No, and also if you've got runners beyond Jesus, that might create the space for Jesus just to come off, get the ball and turn, rather than easily now they can double up on him. One defender goes really tight and aggressive on him, the other one just drops him behind.
Lens 2, Arsenal 1, live on TalkSport tonight. And the sports bar is going to be open for business, and I think Arsenal fans will be on the phones giving a call to Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy, 03717 223344. They'll be talking about Bukayo Saka. They'll be talking about that mistake from David Raya, and they'll be talking about a lot more in between as well. The failure to open up this Lens defence might well be a subject for Jamie and Jason too. 03717 22 3344. And also the first opportunity for people to react to hearing that audio from the PGMOL. There's a penalty at Old Trafford. Here's Mickey Gray.
Yeah, there certainly is, and it's Casemiro who's given a foul away in the Manchester United area on Dries Mertens, who looks like he's going to step up and take this penalty. But worse than that is Casemiro picked up his second yellow card. He's walking down the tunnel. Manchester United are down to 10 men. And it is Dries Mertens, who's going to step up and take this penalty. This is just going from bad to worse for Manchester United. Just waiting for the referee to blow his whistle here. Just getting everybody outside of the 18-yard box. But Manchester United, yes, down to 10 men, with Casemiro being sent down the tunnel after that second yellow card. But it's 2-2 as it stands right now. But Icardi is just about to take this penalty. The referee blows his whistle. Icardi steps up. He runs up with his right foot. And he misses it! It goes wide of the right-hand post. What a massive let-off for Manchester United. A huge opportunity for Galatasaray to take the lead in this game. And Icardi puts it wide. Manchester United 2, Galatasaray 2.
Oh, what a bit of luck for Erik ten Hag. What a bit of luck for Casemiro, who's been sent off again. How many times has he been sent off in 2023? That's the third time that he's been dismissed, and he hasn't had a great start to the season. And I'm sure Manchester United fans will want to talk to the boys about that as well. 03717 222 33 44. 78 on the clock in northern France, and Ben White has the ball on the right side for Arsenal in search of a goal to try and level this game up. Both English teams struggling tonight to put points on the board. Manchester United are going to last 11 minutes with 10 men at Old Trafford plus injury time. Arsenal, who have lost Bukayo Saka, have got to try and find a way past this stubborn Lens defence. Is there a way through? They're dominating the ball, but they're lacking in creativity tonight.
They are. I mean, Lens have defended very, very well in terms of getting numbers back, being really organised, shuffling across, making sure that ball can't easily go in towards Jesus or Martin Odegaard. We'll try something different then.
Well, it's interesting that Eddie Nketiah has been left on the bench tonight. Bit of a pushing and shoving match going on as the anthem of RC Lens is ringing around the Stade Bollard, and they are chorusing their team here at the famous old stadium as they continue to dominate the scoreboard. They lead by 2-1. Arsenal dominate the ball. They have it in the centre circle. It's picked up by William Saliba, who looks up. But I think he wanted to play that forward, but was looking for a run in behind. But Jesus was just static, standing in the middle of the two centre-backs and offered nothing for him. They're going to make a change in just a second, I think. Mikel Arteta's just done the universal symbol for a substitute. And what a noise and what an anthemic song is being sung here by the Lens support, serenading their team as Arsenal do make that change. And Odegaard is coming off, and he is going to be replaced for the final 10 minutes of this game by Eddie Nketiah.
Not a surprise that Nketiah would come on. Maybe as a 2, but definitely with Jesus deeper, I would expect. Maybe almost in a 10 role. If he wants to drift, let him, but make sure we have another player at the top end of the pitch in Nketiah. And Eddie Nketiah will try and stretch that defence. He'll make those runs in behind constantly.
I do think, though, we're in the situation with Arsenal. They made those changes initially as Ruben Aguilar comes on for David Makeda as well. There's a change for the home team too. Ruben Aguilar is making his Champions League debut. He's come onto the pitch. There has been another goal at Old Trafford. We'll be there in just a second, but there's an attack on this right-hand side being led down the right-hand side by Lens. They get towards the edge of the penalty area. Doesn't quite come off from Andy Diouf, and he runs into a cul-de-sac, and he goes ends up committing a foul on Emile Smith-Rowe. So we'll go off to Old Trafford. There's been a goal for Mickey Gray.
Well, they might have missed the penalty, but they haven't missed this one. It's now Manchester United 2, Galatasaray 3, and it's Icardi again this time. Just breaks through the back line of Manchester United after they give the ball away yet again. He looks as if he's onside. He's getting looked at, but he just turns, nobody around him, runs into the 18-yard box, keeps his cool, and just dinks it over the top of Andre Onana to give the away side a huge lead. Manchester United 2, Galatasaray 3.
That's bad news for Manchester United, isn't it? Down to 10 men, 3-2 down. And Mauro Icardi, who missed the penalty, has made amends for that. Here comes Sotoka, trying to play the ball through the middle of the park, looking for Wesley Saïd. He's cut out by the Arsenal defence. Rice strides forward over halfway. They're looking for an equaliser here. Both English teams behind in the Champions League tonight. Jesus chasing into the corner. The Lens do brilliantly. It's great work again by Kevin Danso, who combines with his fullback and then clears upfield.
But then that's not good enough. I'm sorry, that's not good enough that then Danso can then play out. Play a couple of passes and just walk out of defence. Where's the team backing up Jesus when he gets into that? Where's the team squeezing Lens to make sure they can't get out? That was just too easy. Rice out towards the far side, plays it to the right wing where Fabio Vieira was waiting. It comes back infield now to Tomiyasu, who's just
left of centre, works himself wide. He's taken on by Reece Nelson, who's stayed wide on this near side. They're trying to keep Vieira and Nelson really wide, but look at this area in the middle of the pitch. There's no one for anyone to aim at. Again, Nketiah now dropping deep. He's now just trotted into the edge of the penalty area. There's not enough movement from Arsenal or invention. Yes, Lens are doing brilliantly. They're shuffling across, they're closing the gaps, they're squeezing Arsenal. And Arsenal just run out of room on this near touchline and given away a throw-in in the right full-back position. But they've just run out of ideas for me.
Yeah, they have. Absolutely. And I think too many players are running towards the ball. That's the issue. Too many players running towards the ball. Sometimes you have to do the hard thing, which is run for the sake of running. Run for the sake of trying to take a defender away that might give your teammate the space.
Also, they've got a 90th minute goal at home to go 2-1 in front against Wycombe Wanderers, and they were 1-0 down in that game. Here is Rice moving forward down the left-hand side, and trying to shrug off one challenge. Gives it to Tomiyasu, who's midway inside the Lens half of the field. Out it goes to Saliba, out towards the right side. They try and take it back towards halfway, and then Declan Rice goes to the centre circle, plays it out towards the left side. Tomiyasu trying to build an attack now. Slows up, doesn't really go anywhere with it. It's the same old pattern into Smith Rowe and then back to halfway. So we'll go off to full time at Portman Road for Talk Sports. Mike Stewart.
Ipswich 3, Hull 0. 8 wins from 10 league games. Top scorers and top of the shop in the Championship. Wes Burns, Connor Chaplin and Marcus Harness with the goals. Ipswich were electrifying in the first half. They took their foot off the pedal a bit in the second half. Hull couldn't break through when they did get forward. Ipswich deservedly in front and in front in the table. Ipswich 3, Hull 0.
And a good night for Blues at St Andrews. Jeff Peters.
Yes, it's finished Birmingham 4, Huddersfield 1. Siriki Dembele outstanding. 2 goals, including the early opener from long range. Koji Miyoshi thumped in the second from close range before teeing up Dembele for the third midway through the second half. Michael Hellick grabbed a late consolation before Jordan James smacked in another for the home side. They were good. Birmingham 4, Huddersfield 1.
Middlesbrough beat Cardiff by 2-1. And that's another full time in the Championship tonight. There's a couple of games still ongoing in that division at this moment in time. Remember, Manchester United down to 10 men and 3-2 down at home against Galatasaray. Bayern Munich 2-1 up against Copenhagen. They're going to top the group tonight. Fabio Vieira trying to progress down the right-hand side. Whilst you were away just moments ago, Emil Smith Rowe picked the ball up off the Lens defence, turned, fired a shot goalwards, but it was too close to Brice Samba in the Lens net.
Yeah, he's dealt with pretty much everything, hasn't he? Brice Samba hasn't caught one of them. Either volleyball, forearms it away, or in that case he punched it out of his area. But I think it's been a slightly worrying performance, hasn't it, from Arsenal, especially in this second half, to just see the real lack of creativity. I mean, look, it's new for someone like Declan Rice, who was in a team in West Ham who basically never had the ball, and now he's got plenty of the ball, trying to be a more creative player as well. I think he's found it a little bit difficult tonight.
Sevilla 2-1 up away in Eindhoven, which is a key scoreline really, because it means that that Sevilla will have 4 points, Lens will have 4 points, Arsenal just 3, and PSV will be bottom of the lot with no points at this moment in time. Stoke 0, Southampton 1 into the last 2 minutes of the Championship. West Brom 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Inter are leading Benfica by a goal to 0, and Real Madrid 3-2 up away at Napoli as Granit tries to go over the halfway line down this right-hand side. He gets challenged from behind, and it's going to be a free kick just inside the Arsenal half of the field, wide on the right-hand side, with Lens now, you feel, just trying to get the job done, get over the line, making sure they're not taking any risks in the final few minutes of this match. They know that this is a huge moment for them, a huge opportunity for them, a team that don't play Champions League football very often. The ball centred towards the edge of the penalty area, and the shot coming in from Satoka was always going wide of David Raya's goal.
Actually, it's definitely been Lens that have been more dangerous in terms of actual goal mouth action in this second half. Even that was a decent move down the left. played into Satoka. Poor finish with his left foot on the volley, but a chance still.
Now, this is a difficult campaign really for Lens. They were in Ligue 2, the second tier in France, as recently as 2019-20. And although they came close to winning the league, setting records for points and wins last season, their budget was like 60 million quid. They've got the 8th biggest budget for player wages this year in France. They've only ever won one French league title. They came close to doing it again last season under Franck Ice. And they've had a period of financial struggle which these loyal supporters have had to deal with. They had 5 seasons in the second division before getting promoted, relegated and promoted again. They have a really good, strong following, a loyal following. There's more supporters really than there is the population of the town. But they will be revelling in tonight whilst Arsenal will be licking their wounds and having to get ready for their game against Manchester City. Ball over the top for Nelson to chase. Nods it into the path of Jesus. Is there a late rescue act on the cards here for Arsenal? Smith-Rowe sends it wide. Nketiah into the penalty area. He sends the ball towards Nelson. Takes a deflection. Stopped inside the 6-yard box. Scrambled away from goal. And then Brice Samba is fouled as he tries to go up and grab it. And then there's a melee inside the 6-yard box. And it's all a little bit untidy. Pushing, shoving, yellow cards, the referee trying to get involved. The referee then comes away from the situation and Samba's left holding his leg inside the 6-yard box and Jesus is going to be in trouble.
Well, I have to say, Gradit on the line there, saving Lens, because it was a great cutback, a brilliant strike, but then the defender off the back of Brice Samba does brilliantly, and then it just all got very, very ugly as Samba tried to grasp it out of the sky.
The referee wants a word with someone here. There is no VAR check. It's just going to be a yellow card. First of the night to Gabriel Jesus. He is being told off, as is Abdul Hamid, I think he's the other one, is he? Abdul Samid, who's been told off by the referee. He gets a yellow card for his troubles. So the first 2 yellow cards of the night to Gabriel Jesus and Abdul Samid come in the 91st minute of the game. They're still going at Old Trafford, where Manchester United are losing to Galatasaray. And Brice Samba taking his time over this goal kick. They haven't told us how much time is going to be allotted at the end of the 90, even though we're into the first minute of stoppage time in the north of France, not too far from the Belgian border. No one's going to accept any waffle tonight from Mikel Arteta. He's going to have to explain away how he let a lead slip in the Champions League. And he'll face questions over the selection of Bukayo Saka as well. Saliba forward up towards the edge of the 18-yard box. The ball drops on the edge of the penalty area. Tomiyasu thinks he was fouled. The referee does end up giving the free kick eventually in the first of 4 added minutes at the end of the 90. And they need a key delivery here, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, they do. Quite sure what Mikel Arteta speaking to the 4th official about. He's got the free kick. But I'm sure he would love to get an equaliser, just to make those questions a little less fierce after the game.
"92 minutes on the clock. It's down to Fabio Vieira to provide the delivery into the box for the Arsenal defence, who have come up. Gabriel Saliba to attack. Tomiyasu in there as well. Rice is up from the back. Nketiah lurking, left-footed, in towards the far post. It's over Saliba's head. He goes down, and it's out and away for a goal kick, and it was just a little bit too big from Vieira.
Well, it was a little bit too straight. That's the problem. And they're really difficult, those passes, for the player on the ball to clip that one in with any real pace and get the angle right. I think you've got to be try and be clever there, do something a bit Weghorst-esque, where you play that in and try and be clever.
Oh, there's gritted teeth being gnashed amongst the Arsenal fans. 1,800 of them have come over from North London. Arsenal, who usually enjoy their trips to France, they've won quite a number on their cross-channel trips. They've only lost one of the last 14. Are about to be the ones that are under scrutiny. Lens are going to be the first team to beat them this season. It's going to blow the group wide open. It was meant to be more simple than this for Arsenal. And here is Nelson inside the area, trying to get the better of the defender. It's away by Diouf and then up into the midfield area. Arsenal trying to put the pressure on with a minute left of stoppage time. Fabio Vieira turns and plays it towards this near touchline. Tomiyasu gets it back to him. They need an equaliser here, Arsenal. Fabio Vieira again trying to turn under pressure. Plays it back to William Saliba. Rice takes over. Loads of players forward. 4 on the edge of the box for Arsenal as they flip a ball towards the far corner. It's tucked behind by the defender. And Przemysław Frankowski just a little bit unaware of who was putting pressure on him, and he's gifted Arsenal a corner kick in the final few seconds of the game, Dean Ashton.
Well, they were playing it around Arsenal then. It needed to go because Gabriel was up there. It's a decent ball in. David Raya in there.
David Raya is up inside the opposition's penalty area. The Arsenal goalkeeper has come up from the back to cause disruption. Don't get this wrong, Arsenal, because there's wide open space behind him, but this should be the last act of the 90 minutes. We've played our 4 minutes of added time. The corner comes in, it's deep towards the penalty spot. Raya goes up there, Gabriel comes back to Smith Rowe, into the body of the defender, goes behind. It's another corner off Satoka.
Well, he caused a bit of mayhem, didn't he? David Raya was underneath it, headed down towards Smith Rowe and White, both went for it at the same time. Not too sure who got the contact, but it hit the defender. They're checking for... No, I thought they were checking for handball, but it was a very quick check.
It was over very quickly. Nelson's going to take the corner on the far side. He has to get this right. Arsenal have got men flooding under the crossbar. The ball's delivered from the right side. Attacking it is Gabriel. He gets a half header on it. Nothing really very purposeful. And it's cleared away by Lens. And then the ball goes back into the penalty area. It's kept alive by Jesus, who's in behind the defence. He sends it towards Nketiah. It's bobbling around inside the box. He's hacked away. And there's the full-time whistle. Lens celebrate. Arsenal's unbeaten start to the season is over. It's not the kind of preparation Mikel Arteta wanted ahead of a reunion with Pep Guardiola. The Lens fans have been craving a return to the Champions League for years, for decades, and they have been rewarded with a huge scalp. The winning goal coming from Wahi in the 70th minute of the game. Arsenal had the lead through Gabriel Jesus, surrendered it after a mistake, ultimately beaten, and they lost Bukayo Saka to injury as well. It's been a poor night for Mikel Arteta, who in the end saw his team run out of ideas, and they've been beaten for the first time this campaign. It's finished in northern France. Lens 2, Arsenal 1.